You're listening to the AfterBuzz TV network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your number one source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Dean. Johnson.
From the AfterBuzz Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com, and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies, this is AfterBuzz TV's Pretty Little Liars After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. If you'd like to buzz in on tonight's show, you can buzz us at 424-256-1729. That's 424-256-1729. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AfterBuzz TV's Pretty Little Liars After Show.
Hello, everybody. Bing is for doing, and we are back doing another after show for Pretty Little Liars. We are in season 4, episode 6, Under the Gun. I am your host, Kelly, and with me today...
Hi, I'm Stephanie. It's great to be back with you all this week.
Hi, guys. It's Emma. And I'm sorry that I missed last week's episode. Apparently, there was a lot of talk online about last week's after show.
We definitely read all those comments.
And although conversations go, everybody has their own opinion, and I know I wasn't here. I wasn't part of that conversation, but I'm aware that you guys just made a comment about the storyline, and some people, you kind of like took it in a negative way, which is not what you guys intended to do. And, we love that you guys are listening and watching and commenting and getting involved. That's one thing that we really, want to encourage. But please rest assured that AfterBuzz is absolutely gay friendly. There's no issues as far as the sexuality goes for anyone on this panel, anyone here at AfterBuzz. And we definitely apologize for anybody taking what the comments were in a bad way.
Yeah, 100% not what we intended at all.
Yeah, definitely. And, once again, I know, just apologize that anyone misinterpreted what we were saying, but it was based on the storyline, and it wasn't any of our personal opinions about society and how it should be.
Right. So all in all, yeah, we love everybody. Everybody's welcome. It's a very friendly place, and everything's good. And although our, opinions about Paige, which we talk about all the time, are different, it has nothing to do with the fact that she's not a man or that it's that kind of a relationship. No. And it's just that the personalities, and it's different things.
I think we talk about it all the time on the show, that we say, like, is a character good or bad? And oftentimes our opinion changes throughout seasons. And I think if you can go back in the show, we've talked about all those characters being good or bad, regardless of sexual orientation. It's just we're looking at the storylines of the show.
Right, and the characters themselves and their personalities, and that's how we're breaking it down. So let's get right into it. Third-degree felony. Hanna is looking at a third-degree felony. When I watched the episode, I just caught up on it last night, and when I watched it, she was trying to bury the gun with the beer mug, scooping out the dirt. Come on. See, no patience. Kids have no patience these days.
She's like... I feel so bad for her because she was trying to get help. She was trying to get Spencer's attention.
Right.
And it was like,
but it's like she waited 5 minutes.
That child that, it's like, well, I'm just going to do whatever,
Yeah.
And she does it anyways. But, Spencer does take ownership of that and says, she was trying to get my attention and I wasn't giving it to her. So she just took it upon herself to make it right by digging up with the mud.
I mean, it's a very scary situation to be in. Here she is. She finds this gun in her mother's closet. She's afraid for her. She knows what's going on more than her at least as far as she thinks, more than her parents do. And she wants to do everything that she can to protect them and her friends. And she just keeps getting herself into more and more trouble by trying to make things right.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Just that need to protect is actually causing her harm at this point.
Right.
She's not using logic in the way she's trying to protect people. We see her with that coffee mug outside of a college party, like trying to hide a gun. It's not the best choices, and it's catching up with her in tonight's episode.
Right. And at this point, I mean, A is really closing in on them a lot more aggressively than before, getting their family involved and calling the police and really, truly getting them in trouble. It's not really just about killing them anymore, getting rid of them. They, you know, it's making everybody suffer. And this is a whole new, you know, dynamic that we're seeing here.
But I think the truth is going to come out, you know, one day or another, or, you know, regardless of how far you tuck it away and make sure, you know, no one tries to get it or forget about it. I think they really need to tell their parents and let them know what's going on.
Well, I think
they're trying to protect them, but they, you know, not to underestimate anyone's abilities or knowledge, but they're still in high school and their parents have had, you know, 20 more years in real life experience to be able to, you know, come up with a solution and try to help them with it.
Well, I think their parents probably know a lot more than these kids think that they do. And just as the show has been progressing, it looks like it may have started with the parents. And watching last week's episode, and I know we've talked about this before, that maybe it's something that's kind of like been passed down and been a generational thing. And with this Miss Grunswald, is that her name?
Yes, I believe so. And it's interesting that you mentioned that because we've definitely had tweets this week, or at least I did, kind of that it could be this generational thing and that maybe what's the connection of her to the girls and that it is intergenerational. So we're not the only ones thinking that for sure.
Right.
And I loved how, you know, all of our viewers, you know, they were leaving us comments and I was reading through it that, you know, they said it might be the new detective, it might be Allie's grandma. You know, I just loved all the creative theories they were coming up with. And I was like, hold on a second. And someone was like, when you guys go back to look at episode, I think it was like 21 of season 3, you could see the connection. I was like, oh my God.
I mean, when you really sit and think about it, and that's one of the coolest things about this show and the way that the storylines evolve, is that you can always go back and it'll make sense. Some part of it, everything you look at will make sense. And yeah, it's every time I watch it and you sit on it for a minute, and the more and more that you think about it, these theories kind of come to light. So it definitely is fun to go back and see what other people think about it. Because I think now my Dr. Sullivan thing is kind of dying out. I don't know.
You mean this is a theory that I've literally been hearing about for a year, if not more, that this is the person, and now you're going to back out of it?
I'm not backing out completely, but I'm thinking that...
Exhausting.
I know. I'm thinking she's still involved somehow. I'm just changing her positioning.
See, I love that the writers keep us on their toes, on our toes. We always kind of, you never know where the show is turning. And that's something that I think they deserve so much credit for, because on a show like this, it can become very predictable. And they've done a good job. We're in season 4 now of still being new and fresh.
And you still don't know who's A.
Well, and they were giving some vocabulary lessons tonight, like explaining things. I mean, Hanna is in trouble, and they're going to test the gun to see if it was the gun that killed Wilden, which I think we all knew that it more than likely it was. Definitely. Just from past episodes and the way we know the A character to be. And Spencer gives everybody a little lesson on ballistics, which I think is kind of cool, because especially with the younger kids, viewers that they have, is to really understand kind of what's going on and keep up, because the show is getting a little bit more grown up just with the things that they're dealing with. I mean, it was already grown up enough to begin with, but it's getting more and more dramatic, and so I like that they're kind of educating the viewers.
I also appreciated the fact that it was Spencer who was giving that explanation tonight, because she would be the one who was like the know-it-all, who would have that information. The other girls, while they're all smart in different ways, I don't know that they'd be like, ballistics, let me explain it to you in like a Webster dictionary kind of way.
Right. Well, and plus, Spencer has the lawyer mother, so it completely makes sense that she would be the one to do that.
100%. Yeah.
Well, and then we have Hannah's dad that's back. He's back in the picture. He's trying to be there to be supportive, help out, find out what's going on. I don't really know.
See, this is something that I thought about over the course of this week. Do you think that he's a good guy, or is he gonna come back around and do something that ends up hurting?
I don't know. I was going back and forth with that as we were watching this whole episode tonight, and I don't know. I mean, there's obviously a huge strain with his relationship with Hanna, which we already know. And, all the way to the fact where she admits that that's the reason why she didn't go to him. She didn't feel like she could, or that he would accept that or help her. And that's a really, sad place to be. But in that scene where they're both sitting on the stairs and he's, having a drink and kind of, it looks like he's contemplating everything, I don't know. It made me think that maybe he is a good guy, but then
I mean,
I don't know.
for him to pack up his, his new family and move out of Rosewood just because of, the altercation that happened between Hanna and the stepdaughter at school, and not talk to your daughter, not check in to see how she's doing, or, even your ex-wife, how is she doing? What's going on? With all the things that she's already been through. And then Caleb goes to him for help and just to let him know what's going on, and he kind of pushes him away and didn't really do anything. I wouldn't go to him either if I was Hanna. So it's just...
I mean, him being a bad dad doesn't necessarily make him a bad guy.
No, definitely.
And that's kind of where the confusion lies for me, at least, on how I feel about his character. I'm not sure yet. I guess we'll find out now that Ashley's been arrested.
Yeah, and I hope that they can mend the relationship. That I agree with you, the difference between a good guy and a bad dad and a bad guy. But I think that it would be an interesting plot line on the show to have how Hanna deals with mending that relationship with her father.
I think he still cares about them. We've seen him trying to come back to Ashley before he was actually married, and trying to see if it would work out, and Ashley had to basically tell him that you're getting married, this isn't going to go anywhere. So I don't think he would do anything. I think he would try to protect them. He just didn't know how to take it when Caleb was telling him, with everything that's gone on with Hanna. He just, I think, didn't know how to take it and kind of had to step back. And we didn't know that Ashley had gone to him before. So I think he'll do everything he can to protect them.
We'll see, I guess. One of the things that I find that's very interesting, too, with A and her new aggressive behavior is that it's bringing all the families back together, all the parents back together with the kids. Because all the trouble that they're getting into is forcing them to all come together. I mean, we even see, Aria's brother is back. We hadn't seen him in a while. And it's kind of uniting them all. And I wonder if, in some kind of twisted way, that could be the point.
Well, the truth is coming out. You see little by little, they are telling, even if they don't tell them, it comes out. So the girls don't have to live with, this burden of lies forever, because it's already revealed. And even the parents themselves, Ashley had to tell her ex-husband and her, and Hanna, that she had the gun and she was with Wilden, where she was lying to Hanna before when Hanna was asking. So the truth's coming out. What the consequences will be, we don't know. We'll find out.
Yeah, because we find out that she did actually point the gun at him. He took it away from her, but she didn't shoot him. She ran away. So whatever happens next, I mean, hopefully we'll find out soon enough. I don't know. It's crazy. And the more and more that you get into it, and the more, I mean, we saw lots of the parents tonight, so the generational thing is definitely a possibility, I think. And maybe it has something to do with the sorority and with Mrs. Grunwald and that crazy secret room. Is there a secret passageway? Is that how she's getting in and out with nobody knowing that she leaves, and when she leaves and when she comes back? Does she hide kids down there with all the scratch marks on the wall? Like, what's going on in that room? I still don't get how Tippy knew that number. Like, that still bothers me. I read your comments, guys. I hear your explanation. I don't know.
I love Toby's comment to Spencer.
Yes.
Or actually Spencer's comment to Toby. I would rather trust Tippy a bird than A.
He's like, you're following a lead that you got from a bird. That was the best.
I was just like, oh, so much logic. All of a sudden, we have this logical moment where we're following tips from birds. Let's reevaluate ourselves. Okay, guys, let's go.
But it led them to, the actual place and to find the phone number. So,
I mean, hey, birds are smart. Animals are smart. It's, I'm not knocking it.
I just speak too.
I think it's interesting. I like it. I want to see where is Tippy. I'm sad for Tippy. We need to find Tippy.
Yeah, I agree with you. I feel like Spencer would love that too. But Spencer's so good at putting all these pieces together. I think that's what we're seeing with her character, is so much of none of the other girls are going to Ravenswood, which it's the first time, we should mention, that we get to see Ravenswood.
Absolutely. And how creepy is Ravenswood? Everybody's kind of stoic. It's weird. They're kind of zombie-ish.
And it's very like black and white. And the only people that stood out from the whole scene was Shana and Spencer. One was wearing red, one was wearing green. So, and everyone else was kind of on a
dull
grayscale.
colors and weird.
It almost feels like it's from a different time period. It's so weird because like Pretty Little Liars, it feels very modern today, where just the way they filmed it even just felt, you know, kind of dusty old town. I don't even know.
Well, it does. It feels like we went back in time a little bit with this town. It feels like it's a kind of on pause, that it hasn't really evolved. And I don't know if it was just our feed and the way that we watched it, but even like the film was a little bit weird. Like it was different. I don't know if anybody else noticed that, or if it was just ours, that, and it had nothing to do with the show. It was just a technical thing. But it seems to be like when we got into that part, it was still like a little bit more like film noir, a little bit.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Just kind of with that vintagey kind of look to it, which was really creepy and awesome at the same time.
And also, how creepy was it? I hope I'm not incorrect in stating this, that there were headstones like
everywhere
on the street, and I was just like, why do we not have a like place that like a cemetery? Like it's just all over. Okay.
Well, it looks like the whole town seems to be a cemetery, kind of. Just the way that the layout was. It was very strange.
Yeah.
Because when they first drive into town, we see the woman standing at the casket in what looks to be kind of a cemetery. And then when they park at the meter, there's the headstone by the tree with the fence around it. And then as the choir is playing over a loudspeaker, all the townspeople seem to flock to this angel statue. And they're just kind of standing there. What is going on?
That's what I wrote 3 giant question marks. I was just like, is this a worship?
And that's where we see Shana. Like, what is she doing there? What was the package she had?
It was more natural for her, whereas for Spencer was curiosity, wanting to know what's going on. Why are all these people there? And Shana was just kind of more blending in with the crowd, and it seemed like it wasn't the first time she had.
Yeah, it definitely looked like it was not the first time she'd been there. But when we see her jumping into Jenna's car, she had a package in her hand. Like, what was that package, and where did she get it from?
An exchange with
Maybe.
the house mother.
Maybe. Well, and when they first go looking for the house mother, the groundskeeper was creepy, a little scary, but he also made a phone.
Chopping roses off of the plants. Did not anyone else notice that?
I know.
Sorry to interrupt you.
No, and then he made a phone call to someone we don't know, but you know the dial kind of sounded like the number that Tippy was calling or singing.
Now it's our investigation.
Now it all makes sense. No, I'm just kidding. But he called someone, so he may have called the house mother at the hair salon when Spencer sees her through the window and goes in to talk to her. You know, she says she's not the one. Obviously, she's the one, but what her role is, we don't know. It's just the whole time. I'm really excited to see this new show, the spinoff show, Ravenswood, because this town is like super creepy.
I mean, they're gonna have me watching that from episode 1. Like, I will know the premiere date. Like, be here probably discussing it. In all honesty.
Yeah, it's crazy. Well, and there was a lot of tension for all the girls in this episode tonight because of Mona. Mona's back. Mona calls out Spencer for hiding the RV story, the fact that Toby took it, hiding it from the girls and his situation. What do you guys think about that? How do you feel about that? Do you think they have a right to be mad? Should they just kind of let it go? They all keep things from each other.
Well, they keep on saying how they're going to tell it, the truth, and they're all going to share what's going on, but they don't.
Yeah.
So, every single one of them has done it at one point or another.
Yeah, it's like, how mad can you really be?
But, they get over it pretty fast.
Right.
When they need each other, they're always there. It doesn't matter, how mad or how upset they are at one another. They'll always be there to help one another out, and that's what I really like.
I feel like they've kind of still make Mona, it's the 4 of them, and then when they want Mona, Mona's in their group. If they don't want Mona, she's the first one to be an outcast. And
yeah.
And so maybe that's why she's doing it. She feels that too. It's easy to feel that, I think, especially in high school.
Well, as she should, because she was trying to kill them not that long ago.
Right.
So they can't really fully accept her all the way back in, as much as they may try. And at this point, I don't feel like they're really trying. It's kind of, they know that they can't, or at least they feel like they can't trust her.
Yeah.
So they're definitely keeping her.
But they never accepted her, and they just accepted her as an extension of Hannah.
Right.
But that was it.
But now it's even worse. It's even, yeah.
Well, I mean, for obvious reasons, once that trust is broken when you're trying to go after someone, I mean, in that capacity, it's going to be difficult to trust them.
But she makes a good point that, you know, she knows all the tactics and she still knows how to deliver everything to A. So keep your, you know, friends close, your enemies closer.
Right.
And it's definitely good to have her closer to them to see what she does.
Yeah. I mean, and we'll see if they develop better habits of trying to hide what they're doing. Because it doesn't, I mean, we know that A knows everything. She's, you know, got cameras everywhere, you know, bugs everywhere, that she hears every conversation. And how they do not even try to hide it, I don't know. I mean, it could just be, well, you know, she's going to know anyway, so who cares? We might as well just do what we want and do what the consequence is. I don't know. That's just, I don't know. It's television. Whatever. I'll get over it.
Days later, Kellie's.
I know. So what about, so we find out too with this issues with Toby, he still doesn't want Spencer to announce it to the girls. So she's not really telling why she kept everything a secret. He still wants to find out what happened to his mother. No new evidence. He went back to Radley, tried to do some investigating, and basically got shut down. So he's still relying on information from A. And why he's still trusting A, Spencer just doesn't understand. But, I mean, do you think that he'll ever really find out?
I don't think he's going to stop till he does. I think he is, like, borderline obsessed with it. He has gone to Radley a few times now. He, I think, is coming up with these theories. He has Spencer on the case with him, and he doesn't want, you know, to... He really wants to know, and rightfully so, I think, at this point. If that's the way your mother had died, you would want to know all the ins and outs of it, especially after seeing what appeared to not be an accurate story in that brief scene we had at Radley.
But having worked for A and knowing how A operates, he should know that he's just going to go in circles and he's going to be used and played for A's benefit. And he may or may not get the story, but it's not going to be anytime soon.
Yeah. Well, and he's blinded by that. He got a little bit of information, and now he's, you know, hungry for more. So we'll definitely see what happens with him. Emily was really angry and annoyed this episode. She runs into Shana. Shana took her place on the swim team, and now Shana's going to be around. She goes to Rosewood High now, so she's going to be with them. And she's already sketchy to begin with, and now it's going to be right in front of them, and she's really not taking that very well. But she's also trying to help out, trying to help Hanna, trying to kind of bridge the gap between what's going on and try to make it right, because she knows how it feels after they were just going after her parents. And she tries to send the dash cam evidence to the police, but of course it's not the right video. So now the Allie masks are gone and we're up to Emily masks, Emily faces. So the video, that's super creepy. The mask of Emily with the guilty sign.
The masks in general, like going back, really creeped me out. And then that Emily mask and the guilty, and then the handwriting, I just couldn't understand how one note, like, wouldn't they have her do her own handwriting in the station and compare the notes? Like,
they just compared the Mother's Day card.
Yeah.
So
it seemed like an odd choice. Because someone could plant a Mother's Day card. That's immediately where my head went.
Yeah. It could be. Well, they never really do things the right way. They shouldn't have been talking to her without her parents or a lawyer or anything anyway.
Especially when her mom works at the station.
Yeah, absolutely. Lots of wrong things. But I think it was more so just to kind of let Emily know.
We know.
We know. Or be careful. Or if the new detective is part of the A-team, kind of like slow your roll. You're not going to get, you're not doing what you think you're doing. So, I'm still on top here. So it could be either or. I mean, who knows?
So the mask had to have been after they went to the shop to see, what was his name?
The creepy mask maker guy?
Because that's Emily was.
Yes. So now they still are, whoever is running this new band of A team went there and got her face.
It looked like in the video that the girl, it seemed like a girl. She had long hair, wearing the mask.
Well, in that video, it was the red coat, right?
Yes, but the hair was coming out from under the coat.
But don't you think it was a wig? Because if it was supposed to be Emily, like the dark hair,
maybe. But I thought, maybe it was Shana.
Could have been.
Or planting it, and they're still close with Melissa. Jenna and Shana are still close to Melissa, and Melissa went back to destroy the mask. So how do we not know she took one?
Yeah, no, she definitely could have taken them. And we don't know who's been back there since. So there are tons of ways that they could have gotten this mask, but now they're using Emily's face, and that's going to be a whole... I mean, now the focus is on Emily. I mean, we see from the preview it's going to be a lot more targets on her head. So we'll see how she handles that in conjunction with everything else, trying to go to college, figure out what she's going to do now that she's not swimming. It's a lot. I mean, it's a lot of pressure in a different way.
I think we've seen throughout the show, though, that she's a fighter. Like,
absolutely.
She's not going to give up easily and like let A get in her head. She fights back, and I'm actually excited to see that turn in the show. I feel like that'll be like a good turn for her to show her like strength.
Yeah, she usually does. She usually comes up from behind and really kind of like wrangles everyone together and just really gets things done. And so I really hope that she can kind of get through this and not always have to be, have so many bad things happen to her poor kid.
Yeah, I was happy to see her reunite with Spencer as well this week. Kind of, we saw them have that fight last week, and it felt like they were like back to their old ways and like a team again. So.
Yeah, and I think from all of them, she's the one that's a little bit more sensitive, and she has that. She sees the good in everyone, regardless of what it is and who they are. She tries to give them the benefit of the doubt before, jumping to the gun. And we've seen that in prior seasons where she's the one that brought Toby around. She's the one that made Toby acceptable to the girls and introduced them, and she was friends with him when everyone was saying that Toby was the one that killed Allison.
Well, what's interesting is you mentioned that it's kind of like the yin and yang of Spencer questions everybody. Like she thinks that it's not that she thinks that no one's good. She just questions everyone's intentions, and rightfully so at this point. Whereas I think Emily still sees the world in that glass half full type situation.
Well, and Emily also has had to struggle, I think, a little bit more than the other girls, just in general with everything. I mean, she's, her family doesn't have as much money as Spencer does. I think she's more appreciative of just everything, and also just genuinely gives people a chance and is not as kind of like doesn't put her nose up as quickly as maybe the other ones do. Like, she genuinely gives people a chance, I think, hence the reason why she was able to kind of bring Toby in and turn things around and, get people to stop and listen. And I like that about her character. I don't think other girls are like super snobby or anything, but you know what I mean? Like, there's definitely a little bit of a difference. Emily just seems to be a little bit more open and personable to me than the other ones do. A little bit more easy
personality trait.
Yeah, a little bit more easily approachable, I think, than the other girls do.
Yeah,
but I don't know. We'll see. I mean, I hope she can figure it out. She definitely is a tough one, so they'll work it out.
Well, she stands up to Mona.
Yeah,
she goes to tell Mona that
she wants in. She wants to know what's going on. And I mean, do we think Mona knows more than she was letting on? I mean, I always think she does.
Definitely, because if she knows, the details of Spencer and Toby and the information, she probably got a video too of
yeah, I mean, who knows? I mean, and do we even know that the video that she gave to Hanna was the real one? The dash cam video? Did they ever look at it after? I can't remember. I have to go back and watch.
No,
I don't think they ever looked at it again after Mona gave it to Hanna, right?
No.
She never checked it.
But her computer crashed, remember?
Right.
Someone was logging in, so they might have just wiped it out and replaced it with
something else. Yeah.
Possibly.
Or I could have swiped it in and out of Hannah's house. Who knows?
Definitely.
I mean, if they can get, the gun back in the bag, then anything is possible.
And the bird.
Yes, and take the bird out. Oh my gosh, so many crazy things. It's definitely getting darker and darker, the way, just like as promised, just like they said it would, and it's getting more and more exciting. I absolutely love the show. And we got to see Aria kind of stand up to Ezra a little bit. It was just kind of like, it's done, dude, leave me alone. And I felt really bad for her. She's really dealing with the repercussions of that relationship and the choices that she made in a real way that we really hadn't seen before. So it's interesting to kind of see that, and especially with her brother's friends, like that's the worst.
I know. I just, you kind of felt for her in that moment.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it was just kind of painful, and having to like go in the locker room but I was like kind of proud of her too, that she like stood up for herself and really didn't just like let the gossip build. She went and confronted him, and then Ezra kind of comes in and saves the day. And there was a moment there where I was like, oh, are they gonna go the easy route and reconcile here because like he comes in and saves the day? Or what she did was continue to stand up for herself and say, no, like, you can't be the person to save me now.
Yeah, and I liked that about her. She had a little bit more fight in her today, too, like telling Spencer, you better get over it with Emily. You guys work it out. We need to get it together, and then standing up for herself here. And it was just kind of, we really saw the kind of like the turmoil between her and her brother, especially due to her parents' divorce and everything, and their relationship has been pretty strained. And, like I said before, we hadn't seen him in a while. So to watch them kind of go through that and he finally turns around, I thought was kind of nice to see that he realizes that he should have believed her and stood up for her instead of the other way around.
Yeah, I definitely like that he's supporting her, and he understands what she's going through, and that it's not easy, to be humiliated in front of a locker room full of boys,
right?
Especially, that it's your friends. So he felt, I think, in a way responsible for what happened. I think he felt like, I shouldn't have told her. I should have handled this and believe what she was telling me.
Yeah, but I think he's, angry for a lot of other reasons that have nothing to do with that, but having to do, it mustn't have been easy for him to deal with her relationship with Ezra, plus the divorce of her parents and his dad having an affair and all of those things. We really didn't see kind of what kind of toll it took on him. So I think we're seeing that now with this, him acting out in this way, being upset with her, because he may blame a lot of it on her, of everything that he had to go through. And if your friends are taunting you about your sister and your parents, that's not easy either. Being in school. High school is a mean place.
But I was like brokenhearted when I saw Ezra standing
in the doorway.
by the window just looking at her. And it must be really difficult, being in the same school, being in the same classroom, and not really being able to talk to one another.
Yeah. But she looks to be pretty over it.
She looks over it. He looks fully in it.
Yeah.
And
I think it's reversed.
Yeah, absolutely. Who did you think went after Connor's car?
I thought it was Mike.
That's what I thought too.
Yeah.
Okay. We were all on the same page. At first I was like, is it Ezra? Like,
Yeah.
did he...
He was wearing the hoodie from school.
Right.
Yeah, because that's how we saw the logo.
100%. But for that second, I was like, did he go and like did Ezra? I was like, wow, that would be amazing. But no, I agree, Mike.
I thought it was Mike. So we'll see what's going to happen with that. There was probably a camera or something around. Poor Mike's now going to be in trouble because from the preview, it's like Emily, now Mike, and we don't know what happens to this poor kid trying to stand up for his sister, and he probably just got himself in a lot more trouble, just like Hanna trying to protect someone. Shouldn't take it in your own hands sometimes, especially not with A running around town. I don't know.
Couldn't agree more.
So what do we think about Aria's mom? Did she take off to Europe after all?
Yes,
I think
she did because
okay.
she mentions it to her brother and says like, "Are you mad?" Something about mom leaving.
I missed that. Okay. Yeah. Well, I'm glad she did. Those bees in the car are creepy.
Yeah, she recovered quickly from her bee incident.
Yeah, she did. She did. What else do we need to go over, guys? I'm excited to see the next episode. I want to know already, like, what happens. How long is Ashley going to be in jail? She can't be there for long. It was totally a setup. We got to figure it out.
I agree.
I just overall feel bad for the girls. I think they're going through so much for pretty much trying to figure out why their friend was killed.
I know. We talk about that all the time. It's really such a crazy and twisted situation, but it just keeps getting more and more strings attached to it. It's just crazy.
Yeah, they're just going after justice for their friend, and it seems to throw them directly into the line of fire.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we definitely love to hear from you guys. So please make sure to go to iTunes and YouTube and rate and comment. We definitely read them. And let us know your theories about what do you think is going to happen. How long do you think Ashley's going to stay in jail? And if anyone else is next. We saw the car driving into Emily's house. What is that all about? I'm so curious to see what that is. I hope nobody gets hurt.
In that last scene with the black gloves undoing the...
Yeah, so we know that, but I hope, we see her mom in the kitchen and she's so I hope that nobody's hurt with that. So we'll definitely see what happens next week. Do you have any news and gossip?
I do.
Let's do it.
AfterBuzz TV News.
So we know that the Teen Choice Awards are coming up quickly here. And of course, Pretty Little Liars has a few nominations this year. Lucy Hale is once again nominated for Choice Summer TV Star in the female category, obviously. And for Dramatic Actress, we have Troyan joining that category, as well as Keegan Allen and Janelle Parrish are also nominated for the show. So there's a lot of nominations for them. And
that's great.
Exactly. So let's all hope that they sweep.
Yeah, absolutely.
At the Teen Choice Awards, always fun. Also, there was a crazy rumor this week about Lucy Hale wanting to quit Pretty Little Liars.
I saw that.
Can you imagine that show without Lucy Hale? I can imagine it without any of them.
Yeah.
So she, of course, denied that. She went on her Twitter and said, for the magazine, claiming I'm quitting Pretty Little Liars. That's absolutely false. I love the show and everyone involved. So she knows that this show made her like a name for herself, and obviously she's going to go on and do other projects, but it's nice that she, at least for the time being, wants to be part of the Pretty Little Liars team.
Yeah.
And then finally, Ryan Guzman, who plays Jake, of course, on the show, talked a little bit about the future of his character to The Hollywood Reporter, and he mentions that he thought that there would be lots of fan backlash because everyone loves Aria and Ezra, myself included. I say it all the time on the show, let's be honest. But actually, and I have to say that I don't mind him. I think they're kind of a cute pair, and he says that there's been actually lots of fan support for him. I thought maybe they wouldn't like the Jake character, but surprisingly, we've got a good following. People are starting to like that pair, the Jake and Aria. What do you think will happen with them?
I hope he comes back. I think it's good for her to have somebody that's a little bit more grounded, and around her age, and to kind of make her grow up in a different way and kind of on her own. So I think it'll be nice to see him come back. So
definitely. I think her and Ezra have had time to build what we're seeing, so she needs to, we need to give that opportunity for Jake and Aria.
Absolutely.
I've also heard rumors of a confrontation between Jake and Ezra, which would be...
That'd be kind of fun to see.
Knows. He already knows it's Ezra, so he might get a little bit overprotective.
That could be kind of fun to see.
Yeah, I would look forward to that, too.
Is there anything else?
Yep, I think we're good.
Is that it? All right, well, let's get into some predictions.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Ooh, okay. What do you guys think? What's going to happen next week? Who's driving the car?
No one.
I'm going one of the parents. I think maybe one of Emily or Hannah. No, Hannah. It crashes into Hannah's. Right?
No, Emily's house.
Okay, so maybe Hannah's parent? I don't know. It's hard.
You think one of the parents was driving?
Yeah.
Really?
Because they're going after the parents with the B.
That's true.
Yeah.
So you think it's a parent that's involved in the A-team?
I don't know. It's just my latest thought. Next week it'll be different.
It might be one of their cars, but no one would actually be in it. So it's going to be registered under someone's name that, I don't know, who would they try to pin after Emily?
I don't know.
Close to her.
Yeah.
So
I mean, who knows? I don't know.
I'm going to have to say that I think the house mother is related to Allie in some way, because it looks a lot like Allie's mom. So it could be
kind of, okay.
An aunt or something. I don't know.
All right. I don't know. Maybe some of the parents of Rosewood went to that sorority. They don't realize that they were maybe all on sorority road together, and that's how it's connected.
Maybe.
I don't know.
I hope the intergenerational kind of plot line blows up by the end of the season.
It looks like it. I mean, we'll see. I don't know. I'm excited to see how it goes. But thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. We definitely enjoy the show. We can't wait for next week. Make sure to go to AfterBuzz TV on Twitter and follow us there, and check out our updates on Facebook as well. And you can follow me at Kellie with an IE 079.
And you can follow me on Twitter at Stephanie Wenger.
You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at RealEmmaK.
And we'll see you guys next week.
From Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.